So you want to be able to invest in multifamily real estate, perhaps like this apartment building right here. But what if I told you that you don't need to have $1 million in your pocket to jump into these types of multi-million-dollar real estate deals? And no, it's not crazy talk. So here in this video, I'm going to expose a lesser known secret that allowed my brother and I to have went from 0 to 75 rental units in just 1 year. And no, it's not by using hard money lending, and it's not by robbing a bank. By the way, I'm Sam Kwak, a real estate investor, serial entrepreneur, and a certified financial education instructor. I've helped numerous individuals and families implement concepts that lead to building wealth in real estate. And I've seen so many feel stuck because they think they don't have enough money to get started in real estate. But here's the thing. Money, or lack of having money, is not necessarily the real issue. And perhaps you want to get involved in real estate investing for the cash flow income, the wealth, and you're realizing that your 401k or an IRA isn't growing quite fast enough. So I'm here to help you figure out how you can get money for real estate investing without needing a fortune up front. So with that said, let's go and dive right in. So at this point, you're probably thinking, Sam, I can't invest in real estate because I don't have the cash. Now, I hear that all the time from people that I work with, but the lack of cash necessarily isn't the real problem. It's just a symptom to a deeper issue. So let me pose a question that it's gonna help you expose the real issue. What if I told you that everyday people could start investing in real estate by simply partnering with people who do have the millions of dollars? Now, I know you're probably saying, Sam, who would ever give me money to invest in real estate? I mean, what's in it for them? I don't want to beg people for money. I get it. At first, it sounds crazy. But let me break this into a very simple comparison. Nearly every day, there are millions and billions of dollars being invested in Wall Street in the hands of investment advisors and experts. But why do they pour billions of dollars into investments like mutual funds or hedge funds? Well, that's because there's an expert running the show, someone who typically spent years learning the markets. And so people trust them to grow their money. It's the same with real estate. People will invest in you if they trust your expertise. Just think about Shark Tank as an example. If you know about the TV show Shark Tank, you know that there's a panel of investors, typically millionaires and billionaires, that invest with entrepreneurs that have great ideas, and many of them have an expertise in their set market or their business. So Shark Tank is a great example of how aspiring real estate investors could partner with someone who is wealthy and affluent to be able to invest in real estate. But you don't have to be a Harvard MBA graduate or even someone with a decade of experience. It might help, but it's not necessary. So if you're not showing that expertise or you don't know how to yet, it can feel impossible to raise money. So ultimately, here's the good news. You can raise money for real estate deals by partnering with others who trust your expertise, even if you're just getting started, and it's not as tough as it sounds. So here's a little fun, quick little story that might help illustrate this. Back when I first got started in real estate investing, I was literally in college. I lived in a dorm room apartment with my brother and other roommates at the time, and as you can imagine, as a college student, I had virtually zero money to my name other than my regular income that I was getting as an Army reservist and my mobile DJ business. But then, just like you, I had a spark of interest for real estate investing. So fast forward a few months later, I decided to join a real estate investing community in my area and met some amazing mentors along the way. And this is where I was learning amazing concepts like owner financing and even like raising capital that I'm sharing with you right now. So as I was shadowing my mentors, I would take pictures of deals that we will look at together, and I will post them on my Facebook page and even shared some of the aha moments of new concepts and strategies that I was learning at the time. After many months later, it happened. I had a family friend who saw many of my posts on Facebook and reached out about my real estate journey. They began by saying that they had no one to turn to when it came to their investments and their retirement, but then saw my post and decided to reach out. So the family friend continued by saying that they wanted to invest the money with us on our next real estate project. And at that moment I said, holy crap, there's no way this is happening, because up to that point, lack of money was the reason why we couldn't do our first deal. But here we are looking at a partner who wanted to invest their money with us and our first real estate deal. And fast forward, that first deal ended up being a small portfolio of 4 single-family houses that projected to cash flow $600 a month. But you notice that the root of the problem wasn't money for us, it was the relationship and the knowledge. Had I not had the relationships with my mentors, it wouldn't have led us to the knowledge piece of our journey. Now, I'm not saying that to go out there and start posting pictures on Facebook of deals that you're looking at. But what I am saying is that when preparation meets luck, you might start to see some really powerful results. You see, I was preparing for the moment of bringing on a family friend as a partner through the many hours of shadowing my mentors, learning, and reading books about real estate. Because otherwise, I wouldn't have been ready for that conversation with a family friend, and I probably wouldn't have earned their trust so that they could invest their funds, their money, into this 4 single family deal. And it was with that 4 single family homes that we first got started. It gave us the leverage, the confidence, and the momentum to start going out there and finding more partners that eventually invested more and more in our subsequent deals. Here's a little bit of different story that might give you a slightly different path for raising capital, and that's through partnering with someone's retirement account. Now, many of our clients know this story because I've shared this hundreds of times already. But another way that I was able to tap into investors and partners is through their 401k. Now, this is really exciting because retirement accounts are fairly common for most people. So the story goes with an individual that I'd like to call him Uncle Joe. Now, it's a fictitious name to protect this individual's privacy. But one day I was overhearing Uncle Joe complain about how his 401k wasn't doing well because the market just declined. Curious, I went over and of course consoled him because he was sad, but knowing what I recently learned about. And so I asked, hey, Uncle Joe, I know that, the 401k just took a dip because the stocks and bonds, they kind of all declined, but have you considered investing in something like real estate where it's relatively stable? And so to that question, Uncle Joe replied, yeah, I thought about real estate investing, but I don't have the money. I don't know what resources to tap into. I don't know anything about making money through real estate, but I do know it's stable and it's made a lot of money for a lot of people. So at this point, I knew Uncle Joe was interested in investing in real estate. So I then asked the next part of the question, and that is, Uncle Joe, did you know that your 401k could invest into real estate? Now, of course, this is surprising and really unheard of. And so Uncle Joe's like, what, kid? That's not possible. that sounds illegal. What are you talking about? There's no way a 401k can buy a real estate. You're kidding, right? Well, that's when I calmly said, Uncle Joe, you're right. Your current 401k cannot invest or buy real estate, but something called a self-directed retirement plan can. And did you know, Uncle Joe, that your 401k can be rolled over into a self-directed retirement plan without triggering any kind of tax consequence, meaning penalties or fees for quote unquote withdrawing money. And that's because we're converting one qualified tax-deferred retirement account over to another type of a tax-deferred retirement account. And of course, like many people, Uncle Joe is still skeptical. Like, what is this self-directed retirement account? What makes it special? Why is it different? How has Uncle Joe never heard about this? So Uncle Joe rightfully says, well, Sam, how come I've never heard about this? How come my advisor or my financial planner or my retirement account has never told me about this? And so I responded to Uncle Joe by saying, well, that's because a lot of these custodial companies that you might be familiar with, a lot of them sell a very limited range of products such as mutual funds, index funds, ETFs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds. Another good way to think about this, Uncle Joe, is that if you walk into a particular restaurant, they're gonna have a set limited menu, like cheeseburger, fries, and Diet Coke, right? Well, if you go into a different set of restaurants, say a steak restaurant, not only are you potentially gonna get hamburger, the same fries, and Diet Coke, but you might get steak, salad, right? All kinds of different menu that's available to you. So a good way to think about this, Uncle Joe, is that your 401k account right now is kind of like the McDonald's where you only have really a limited option of things you can buy. But a self-directed retirement plan is kind of like the buffet where a lot of different range of food is available and there's a heck of a lot more flexibility and customization like buying real estate through your 401k. So at this point, Uncle Joe is really intrigued and says, okay, kid, spill the beans, tell me more. How do I get into real estate investing through my 401k? So this is where I break it down really, really simply for Uncle Joe to understand how it goes on, because a lot of times numbers and facts and figures can be confusing. So I say, Uncle Joe, this is how it works. Your 401k could be rolled over into a self-directed retirement plan. Again, there's no tax penalties and consequences, even if you're under 59 and a half. After we roll the money into a self-directed retirement plan, it could allow us to, yes, directly buy a piece of real estate with the self-directed retirement plan. A better potential way is for the self-directed retirement plan to be a partner of an LLC where your retirement account, Uncle Joe, is a partner and I am also a partner in this LLC. And of course, we'll get the lawyers involved, make sure everything's good, everything's legal, and make sure everything's fair. And with the funds that you have in your self-directed retirement plan, we can invest that money into the LLC. And consequently, the LLC can have its own credit score, it can open its own bank account, it can establish its own credit. And we're able to take this LLC that your retirement plan is a partner of, and I'm a partner of, and we can go and start buying real estate inside of this LLC. And of course, when the real estate deal makes money, you make money, I make money, win-win, and together we could potentially earn a better return than what the market's doing right now inside of your traditional 401k. And boy, oh boy, this is when Uncle Joe's light bulb light up like this and said, all right, I'm in. How do I get started? I want to be able to invest with you. Now, of course, just as a disclaimer, make sure you get the attorneys involved and tax professional involved because there's a lot of nuance to what I didn't share with you, a lot of technicalities. So make sure you talk to a professional before attempting to do anything that I shared with you so far. But my point of that story is to show you that there are many Uncle Joes out there with many 401ks out there that are waiting for a potential opportunity to invest in real estate that could have a better return than what the market's doing right now. So all that to say, raising capital, as what I've been talking to you about, doesn't have to feel scary, doesn't have to be for Harvard MBAs and the Wall Street people. It's really about building trust and leaning on expertise, yours or someone else. So whether you're sharing your learning journey to get support from your network or teaming up with retirement funds through self-directed IRAs or self-directed retirement plans, these paths can open doors where you didn't think were possible. And I know I've shared my personal stories in this, but I've seen this work for so many people that helped to implement the concepts of raising capital. And many of them thought it was impossible to get into real estate investing because they didn't have the money. But with the right training, mentorship, and education, they broke through the wall of belief and barrier that no longer exists. So just to wrap all this up, you don't need $1 million in your pocket to invest in real estate. Will it help? Sure. But you can always raise capital from others by building trust and tapping into expertise. So yes, it is possible partnering with others to own properties that bring cash flow without using your own money up front. So if you're having aha moments in this video, we have more aha moments for you in our free real estate investing course, and it's going to be in the video description down below. It's completely free. All we ask is for you to actually use it and apply it, and later consider joining our more advanced real estate academy, which could help you go further in your real estate investing journey. As always, be sure to leave a like and comments down below, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.